Welcome back to the Tell All Tapes, your #1 source for the deepest dives into the Fiancé universe. Today we are looking at what might be the most explosive turning point in the history of the Silva twins. We have watched them do everything together for years. They live together, they travel together, they get surgery together, and they even got married around the same time. But there is a theory circulating that suggests this twin dynamic is about to be shattered permanently. We are talking about the rumors of a solo contract. A massive shift that would see Darcey standing alone in the spotlight while Stacey is left in the shadows. The internet is buzzing with speculation that the network might be ready to make a brutal choice, cutting one sister loose to save the franchise. It sounds impossible, but when you look at the clues, the tension, and the sudden shifts in their dynamic, the writing might already be on the wall. They came into this world together. But if the rumors are true, Darcey might be leaving this world of reality TV alone. If you are ready to break down the evidence and dive into the theory that could end Darcey and Stacey as we know it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel right now. We are tracking every update, every deleted post, and every subtle dig. So, turn on those notifications because you do not want to miss what happens next. Let's get into the first pillar of this theory, which we are calling the ratings war. For a long time, the brand has been the Silva twins. It is a package deal. You get the chaos of Darcey and the slightly more grounded but equally chaotic energy of Stacey. But fans have started to notice a shift in how the audience responds to them individually. There is a growing sentiment online that the duo dynamic has become repetitive. We see the same arguments, the same tit for tat bickering, and the same competitive undertones season after season. Networks are driven by data and they are driven by engagement. The question we have to ask is what happens when the data starts to show that one twin is carrying the show. If you look at social media engagement and the general discourse surrounding the show, Darcey has always been the lightning rod. She is the emotional core. She is the one who cries, who wears her heart on her sleeve, and who genuinely seems to be searching for love, no matter how misguided her attempts might be. That vulnerability makes her watchable. It makes her, in industry terms, TV gold. On the other hand, viewers have often criticized Stacey for being the instigator, the one who pokes the bear and then stands back to watch the explosion. There is a theory that the network has noticed this imbalance. If the audience is tuning in for Darcey's journey and merely tolerating Stacey's interference, then from a business perspective, the twin life brand becomes a liability. Imagine a scenario where the executives look at the numbers and realize that viewership dips or engagement turns negative whenever the storyline focuses too heavily on Stacey and Florian, or whenever Stacey is seen parenting Darcey. The unrelatable label is a death sentence in reality TV. While Darcey is often called messy, she is rarely called boring. Stacey, however, often gets tagged with the mean girl label by fans who feel she sabotages her sister. If the network is seeing data that proves Darcey is the star and Stacey is the anchor dragging the ship down, the logical next step is a rebranding. We Have seen it happen with other franchises. The breakout star gets the spin-off. The rumors suggest a concept similar to a Bachelorette-style show, focusing entirely on Darcey's dating life, without the constant commentary from her sister. It would be a fresh start, a way to revitalize Darcey's image away from the toxic twin dynamic. This leads us directly into the second part of this deep dive, the sabotage campaign. If Darcey is being groomed for a solo career, or if Stacey even suspects that her position is threatened, it recontextualizes everything we have seen in the recent seasons. Go back and watch the scenes where Darcey is happy or excited about a new prospect. Watch Stacey's reaction closely. It is rarely pure joy. It is often skeptical, critical, or dismissive. For years, we thought this was just sisterly protection. But under the lens of this theory, it looks a lot more like intentional sabotage. The narrative here is that Stacey needs Darcey to be a mess. If Darcey is stable, happy, and independent, she doesn't need Stacey. And if she doesn't need Stacey, then Stacey doesn't have a show. The dynamic relies on Darcey being the disaster and Stacey being the savior. So, every time Stacey gives bad advice or brings up Georgie at the worst possible moment or makes a snide comment about Darcey's appearance, it serves a purpose. It keeps Darcey insecure. It keeps her off balance. And most importantly, it keeps her tethered to the twin dynamic. Fans have pointed out specific instances that feel incredibly calculated. Think about the times Darcey has been ready to move on only for Stacey to remind her of past trauma or question her judgment until she spirals. It is a psychological game. If the network is indeed considering a solo show for Darcey, Stacey would be fighting for her professional life. This explains the heightened tension we have seen on social media. There have been accusations of bot attacks in the comments sections with waves of negative comments flooding Darcey's solo post while praising the duo. Some theorists believe this could be an orchestrated attempt to make Darcey look unpopular on her own, a way to convince the network that twin life is the only viable option. Then there is the Gorgie factor. One of the biggest obstacles to a Darcey solo show is her being in a relationship that audiences are tired of. Bringing Georgie back into the picture ruins the solo Bachelorette narrative. If Darcey is tied down in a toxic cycle with Georgie, she can't be the star of a dating show. This leads to the dark speculation that Stacey might be the one encouraging the Georgie return, or at least facilitating it to ensure Darcey isn't available for a solo spin-off. By keeping Darcey in a relationship that the fans and potentially the network are exhausted by, Stacey ensures that the status quo remains. It is a chess move. If Darcey is single, she is a valuable asset for a new show. If she is with Georgie, she is just part of the same old drama that requires Stacey's commentary. The emotional toll of this cannot be overstated. We are watching two sisters who have built an entire identity around being a unit. The house of the music, the show, it is all shared. But money and fame have a way of driving a wedge between even the closest people. If a contract worth millions was placed on the table, but it only had one signature line, what would that do to The Silva family? We have to consider. The ultimatum. If Darcey wants the money and the fame, she might have to cut Stacey loose. And Stacey, sensing this, would likely use every tool in her arsenal to stop it. The guilt trips about we do everything together and you are nothing without me would be intense. This brings us to the financial and legal entanglement. The house of brand is slash. If the show splits, the brand inevitably suffers. We could be looking at a situation where Stacey threatens legal action or demands a split of the solo show's earnings, claiming she helped build the Darcey brand. It gets messy very quickly. And where does their father Mike stand in all of this? Mike has often been the voice of reason, and he has expressed frustration with their bickering. It is entirely possible that Mike would support a solo venture for Darcey if it meant getting her away from the toxicity of the twin dynamic. He might see it as the only way for Darcey to finally grow up and stand on her own 2 feet. As we look toward the future, the current filming schedule becomes very interesting. There is a strong belief among theorists that what is being filmed right now could be the farewell season for the duo. The narrative arc seems to be bending toward a breaking point. The fights are becoming more personal, the resentment is more visible, and the separation between their storylines is growing. If the final scene of the next season is the two of them walking separate ways, one to a new life of solo stardom and the other left behind, it would be the most dramatic ending in the franchise's history. So, what do you think? Is the network really planning to split the twins? Is Stacey sabotaging Darcey to save her own career? Or is this just another chapter in the endless saga of Darcey and Stacey? The evidence is mounting and the tension is undeniable. If you want to see Darcey finally take the reins of her own life, or if you think the twins belong together forever, let us know in the comments. We will be back with part 2 of this investigation soon, where we will dive into the potential legal battles and the future of the house of. Until then, keep watching, because the truth is often stranger than reality TV. We have covered the ratings data and the alleged sabotage campaign, but now we have to follow the money, because in reality TV, money is the only thing that speaks louder than family loyalty. We are entering the most volatile chapter of this theory, the contract negotiation. If the insiders are right and TLC has put a multi-million-dollar offer on the table for a Darcey solo project, we are witnessing the ultimate test of the twin bond. The rumor mill suggests a figure upward of $1 million for a multi-season commitment to a show focused exclusively on Darcey's search for love. But the fine print is the killer. The condition allegedly attached to this money is exclusivity regarding her main storyline, meaning Stacey cannot be a main cast member. She would be demoted to a friend of role or cut entirely. Imagine the conversation behind closed doors in that Connecticut house. This isn't just about a paycheck. It is about identity. Stacey has reportedly launched a massive guilt trip campaign. The narrative she is pushing is that they are a package deal, that they promise to do this together forever. She is likely using the twin code as leverage. We have seen Stacey manipulate situations before, but this is desperate. She is telling Darcey that taking this deal is a betrayal of their blood, that she is selling out her sister for fame. But Darcey is at a crossroads. She has spent years being the punchline, the crier, the one who falls down so Stacey can look like the stable one. This contract is her validation. It is the network telling her, you are the star. That kind of validation is addictive, and Stacey knows she can't compete with it. But the war isn't just emotional. It's corporate. We have to talk about House of. This is the brand they built together, their fashion line, their legacy. If the show splits, the brand is in immediate danger. You cannot market a twin brand if the twins are at war and on different shows. Theories are circulating that Stacey is using House of as a hostage. The speculation is that she has threatened to sue for full control or to liquidate the company if Darcey signs the solo contract. It is the scorched earth policy. If I can't be on TV with you, then we don't have a business together. This explains why we have seen awkward promotional videos lately where the energy feels forced. They are trying to sell leggings while potentially negotiating a business divorce in the background. Then there is the wild card, Mike Silva. Their father is the financier, the executive producer of their lives. He has always supported their dreams, but he is also a pragmatic businessman. Fans have noted that Mike seems increasingly exhausted by the twin bickering. He wants Darcey to be happy and he wants her to be independent. There's a strong possibility that Mike is actually the one pushing for the solo deal. He might see this as the only way to break the codependency. If Mike backs the solo show, Stacey loses her biggest ally. He holds the purse strings. And if he decides that investing in Darcey the solo star is a better return on investment than the Silva twins, Stacey has no leverage left. This brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the final season theory. Look at the production choices being made right now. Look at the editing. Reality TV editors are storytellers and they plant seeds seasons in advance. We are seeing more solo confessionals. We are seeing story lines that don't overlap. We are seeing the sisters physically separated more often in scenes. This is not an accident. This is preparation. We believe that what we are watching right now is the farewell season of Darcey and Stacey as a duo. The network is weaning the audience off the twin dynamic, testing the waters to see if we will follow Darcey on her own. The proposed concept for the new show, let's call it Darcey's Dating Life, is rumored to be a total format change. No more hanging out in Connecticut apartments. The theory is a bachelorette-style travel show, sending Darcey to international locations to meet men, completely removing her from Stacey's sphere of influence. This requires a clean break, and that is why the drama feels so heavy right now. It is the darkness before dawn. The final scene of this current era won't be a wedding or a party. The theory predicts it will be a literal fork in the road. Picture the season finale. Darcey packing her Louis Vuitton bags. Not for a trip with Stacey, but for a Solo flight. Stacey standing in the driveway watching her leave. It is the perfect cinematic ending to the duo era. And a perfect pilot setup for the spin-off. So, we are left with the ultimate question. The network is watching. The producers are reading the forums. They are gauging our reaction. This entire leak could be a test balloon released by TLC to see if the fans want this split. Do you want to see Darcey free from the toxicity, dating on her own terms with a fresh cast of characters? Or do you think the magic lies in the chaos of the two sisters together? Is Stacey the villain holding Darcey back? Or is she the necessary anchor that keeps Darcey from floating away entirely? This is a potential $1 million decision. And the fate of the franchise rests on it. Darcey has a chance to rewrite her story, to stop being the twin and start being the icon. But the cost is her relationship with her sister. It is the ultimate reality TV tragedy. To get everything you ever wanted, you have to leave behind the person you started with. We will be monitoring the filming locations, the house of trademark filings, and every cryptic Instagram caption for the next sign of the split. If you believe Darcey deserves her own show, type Team Darcey in the comments. If you think they need to stay together, type Twin Life. The battle lines are drawn and the contract is on the table. Thanks for watching the tell-all tapes. Make sure you are subscribed because when this news officially breaks, you are going to want to be here for the aftermath.